In a 6-3 decision issued on April 29, 2026, the Supreme Court of the United States weakened the Voting Rights Act of 1965 by ruling that states are not required to draw majority-minority congressional districts, effectively limiting the use of race in redistricting. This is a big deal, in the South especially. Minorities might not have or might find it more difficult to have an elected official reflecting their interests and/or values. Another consequence, the 6-3 decision just made it significantly harder to challenge electoral maps. Before this ruling, you could go to court and argue that a map diluted minority voting power based on its effects. That was enough in many cases. Now, that is no longer enough. You have to prove intent. You have to prove that lawmakers meant to discriminate. And that's a much higher bar. So what's next? First, expect more aggressive redistricting. The state legislatures now have more room to draw maps that favor their party while staying just inside the lines legally. They don't need to say anything about race. They can use political data, voting patterns, geography, and the result can still disadvantage minority voters. Second, you're going to see fewer successful lawsuits because proving intent is extremely difficult. Lawmakers don't write emails, memos, or bills saying, "We are discriminating." They use neutral language. That makes legal challenges harder, longer, and less likely to succeed. Third, fewer majority-minority districts. Those districts were often created under pressure from the Voting Rights Act. Without that pressure, some states may choose to spread those voters out instead of concentrating them. And that leads to a real trade-off. You may get more mixed districts, but fewer districts where minority voters can reliably elect a candidate of their choice. Fourth, this shifts power back to the states. This continues a trend that started with Shelby County versus Holder when the court removed federal preclearance. Back then, the federal government lost the ability to stop discriminatory maps before they happen. Now, it's much harder to fix them after they happen. So the system moves from prevention to reaction to now limited enforcement. And finally, the political impact. This could reshape congressional maps across multiple states, especially in the South. It may advantage Republicans in some regions, but the bigger story, to me, is structural. The rules of the game just change. The court didn't eliminate the Voting Rights Act, but it definitely narrowed how it works. Create out!